1996 was such a magical year all the way around. In every category, right down the line. I love everything about 1996. Um, the Bulls won the NBA championship.
Definitely didn't like that.
Jordan's legacy, just getting further into like experience and feel it and like everything. It was, you know, I'm a Chi-Town kid, so
Yeah, nobody asked if he was a Chi-Town kid. Um, the Bulls definitely didn't like the Bulls, but yeah, they was running the show back then. They was
and
running.
you were sitting there bitter and angry even
Yeah,
after Isaiah Thomas's retirement.
yeah. I didn't want to. I don't like the Bulls, man. I don't. So
That's tragic.
it's tragic.
You missed out on the greatest sports being a hater.
I wouldn't call myself a hater, but other people would, like him.
What would you call yourself then?
Am I allowed not to like somebody? I gotta like them because everybody else like them.
I don't like Jordan,
Okay.
but I will respect and revere his dominance.
Man, I ain't revering and all that. He trying to throw little extra words in there. I respect what he do. That's about it. I ain't going no further than that. So.
Honestly, the documentary that came out that's supposed
that was corny.
You didn't even... Did you watch it?
Nah, I didn't. I seen little parts of it, of course.
Okay.
But...
And you felt like the clips were corny?
I feel like Jordan is a cornball.
I think he's really evil and edgy, so we got polar.
Yeah, you called him evil though. I wouldn't say he's evil, but
okay.
He's a cornball though.
Well, I think that when we get into conquering, or like in order to dominate your competition, you have to strip them of all confidence. It's like a true but evil statement. And that's the kind of shit he let slide on something that he had full control of. But I think a lot of people take that out of context because that goes far beyond sports.
Yeah, but remember when Jordan said, when they asked him who his favorite player was, his favorite artist was, he said Robert Kelly. He said Robert Kelly.
I've never seen that clip.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the clip is on. It's on one of the nighttime talk shows. Like it's either Jay Leno or it's David Letterman, and they asked him who his favorite artist was, and he said Robert Kelly. Who says Robert Kelly? His name is. People call him R. Kelly, bro. It's okay to say R. Kelly. Robert Kelly, that's cornball.
Kamala Harris's favorite rapper alive is
Tupac.
I don't know why people care. It's funny, but they're like literally trying to use that to make people not vote.
Why? Yeah, I don't know.
What I dislike is that she wasn't able to just be like, no, I don't know any rappers now. It was that hard for her to be honest about something that unimportant.
Yeah, I think with people like her, she feels some type of way inside as far as connecting with black people.
That
like
she needs
culturally, like even though she got black skin, culturally she doesn't connect with black people. It's pretty obvious. So when they ask a question like that, you're 100% right. They're trying to set her up,
but she should be honest enough to be like,
I agree.
And she took a whole minute. Did you see the actual clip of it?
No, I didn't see the clip. I seen people posting it though.
She was terrified to just say she didn't know no living rap. She could have said Jay-Z.
Yeah.
She could have said Jay-Z. Kamala. Jay-Z. Okay, but speaking of outspoken and honesty, this is the year it got real as it gets in sports when our top athletes finally said what everybody needs to hear. And they came out the gate swinging and with a first-round draft pick. They didn't say it this year, but this is where that pressure was applied. and wear braids and tats and all that
No,
came to stop that Jordan Republicans
Buy
wear them
shoes,
too mentality.
Yeah.
Mr. Allen Iverson was the first round draft pick. And that's probably something you was happy about that year.
The first pick in the NBA draft. Iverson was one of those people I was following early on. I learned about him. I learned about Iverson through high school football. I used to follow high school football, all the best high school athletes. And
as a grown man?
I wasn't that grown. When I was young when 1996. Yeah,
You
I
were
wasn't
still
grown.
over 18. No.
I mean, I was right around that age though.
Okay.
So yeah, I was following. I follow high school sports to this day though, but not football so much. I follow high school basketball, but I'm just a sports person. You know what I mean? I like to see who's coming
Up.
Yeah. So when I seen Iverson, it was on this Parade All American. It was in the newspaper. They had Parade All Americans, and they would list them. And they had him as a utility player. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I didn't know what a utility player meant at the time. I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I started to look him up, and I found out he was a quarterback. This was pre Michael Vick. This is well, at least pre me knowing
in
about,
the same area though too. So
yeah,
that's
Virginia,
interesting.
kid from Virginia, and I started to look more into him, and I seen a ESPN magazine that he was in. I believe it was ESPN magazine, and they showed him dunking on a rim like at a park, and they had a whole story about how he went to prison, and that was my first introduction to Iverson, and I followed him. I followed him ever since then. Followed him in Georgetown. So then he left after his sophomore year, and he was drafted first pick to be 6 foot or 5'11".
Yeah, I was about to say you missed the most important. Well, both of us did. That man was only 6 feet when there's literally 7'2" players, and like 6'11" is like the average.
This was, and the craziest part is when you look at that draft. First of all, this is one of the best NBA drafts in the history of basketball.
Okay, who all was on there?
Kobe.
What?
It was Steve Nash.
No way.
Yes, and he was picked before all these players.
Cool.
So when you go back and look at that draft,
at 6 feet.
Yeah, it's a lot more though. It's a lot more. Ray Allen. It's a lot more players. When you go look at that draft, they have a picture of everybody. They usually take like all the lottery picks, and they'll take a picture of all of them together. Mm-hmm. When you look at that
lottery collection.
Yeah, when you look at that picture.
I mean, you literally named like 7 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. And they're all in that same draft. And Iverson was picked.
Monsters.
He was picked before all them. So when you go back and look, and even the players that weren't Hall of Famers, they were still good. They were still players that played. I think Marcus Camby might even be in that draft. There's still players that played. Played
Marcus
for years.
Camby had a decent career.
Yeah, and Kerry Kittles and
Kerry Kittles, New Jersey.
He was in that draft. Yeah.
Who drafted him?
New Jersey.
Wow. So did he play for anybody else?
Yeah, he played for other teams after that, but
I can't picture him in anything other than the New Jersey,
right?
Jersey.
Yeah. That draft was one of the best drafts in the history of the NBA, as far as just the depth of it and the type of players that came from that draft.
I mean, those are groundbreaking players.
And he was only 6 foot, and he was the first pick.
But LeBron's class
draft was good too.
Mm-hmm. Nasty.
And
nasty.
Jordan's class.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan had Barkley in his class.
Woo!
And a bunch of other
Yeah. So really strong. That's probably when the competition is that high. The cream of the crop, and everybody's playing twice as hard out there too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you have Iverson becomes his first year coming in. He's like, he starts to make his presence felt as just a cultural icon. It started out in small little bits early on, but
not on purpose.
No, just being who he is. The baggy clothes started, and
he wore the baggy.
Baggies.
What the fuck? We gotta show an old picture.
Yeah, because his t-shirts, man, was like down to his ankles.
Yeah, and then them jeans were like, whatever around his feet. It didn't make no sense.
And then the way he played, it was like he didn't care about none of the rules, man. It's like whatever, I'm gonna do what I do. Because people also have to put this in perspective. Because I think a lot of people now watch basketball. It wasn't the same. Back then,
it wasn't so individual.
Exactly. If you were a point guard back then, you were told to bring the ball up the court and get it to a bigger player. You couldn't do what Steph Curry was doing now. You couldn't just come down and shoot from half court if you want, or just do what Harden does and take 8 shots in a row. You couldn't do that. Back then, you had the point guard. His whole job was to get everybody else involved.
To be the best dribbler. Yep. Don't act like they were just dogging point guards. It was to be the best dribbler because they were smaller
and passer and get everybody involved. They wanted traditional point guards. And then Iverson made a statement a year later. He said, "If you put me at 2 guard, I would score 30 points a game too." And they put him at 2 guard, and he started scoring 30 points a game. So it was something, but. Back to his
played his whole first season facilitating?
Yeah, he was a facilitator in his first season. And then it was like, he started to see, like, this ain't the way. Because he's just a scorer. He's a person that, he does pass the ball, but most of the time he getting up shots because he's able to get his shot anytime he wants. So he changed the way. He was before all these other players started coming in and having the green light, these smaller players. He was before that. He didn't have the green light, but he created the green light. And then it just, trickled down from there. His cultural impact, like, what did you think when you first
saw him?
Yeah, like in the NBA, kind of doing what he do.
It takes a lot to shock me.
Oh, okay.
And I was young, too. I was super young.
So you gonna act like you was just you taught Iverson everything you know?
Well, one thing that I liked is that he was a rapper, and he cussed.
Terrible as a rapper. Though.
He wasn't. He had that song. They even let him use it in the commercial for his legendary shoes. It was a banger for sure.
He was bad as a rapper, and that's self-admittedly bad because he said he sucked as a rapper.
He wasn't a bad rapper. That was a dope song.
I agree 100% that you sucked as a rapper.
AI, I need to hear you on the White Iverson remix. That would be so lit if you gave us some bars on a White Iverson remix.
If you did White Iverson, that would be disrespectful to everything you've done in your life.
He invented Post Malone, and that just is an extension.
He didn't invent Post Malone.
Beyond black culture. He gave us Post Malone on accident, but he did. His cultural impact?
He didn't give us, even on the accident. Post Malone stole the idea of naming a song White Iverson. He stole the idea, and he looked like he was unfamiliar with the basketball in the video.
You know how many people got introduced to Allen Iverson from that song?
That's great.
And it was just like it sucks that people try to sit here and be like, this person's a cultural icon, and then they want to limit it to one culture or even a culture that's not a color. He was a hip hop, and even if like that's just a reflection of his cultural impact. So
yeah, but this is my thing. If you're gonna use his name, at least hopefully you've watched the game with him playing. Like, I don't like when
I'm sure we can't make up that Post Malone never watched Iverson.
Man, he looked
play.
uncomfortable with a basketball in his hand. He looked uncomfortable.
Well, this song has nothing to do with basketball.
That's
this
great.
song is literally about his cultural impact and what he did different in his renegade lifestyle. So he's not like, I'm playing basketball like Allen Iverson. He's literally saying he's living his life as a renegade like Allen Iverson.
He's the white version of Allen Iverson. That's what he said, White Iverson, right? He's the white version of Allen Iverson.
Yeah, but the way you said it is enough to
it's corny.
make the whitest person feel
that was corny.
cringe at Post Malone.
That was corny. And to me, he's a caricature.
Well, with anything, what you have to understand is if it brings relevance to something, whatever brings it, because, bro, fools are fans and the people at the forefront of so many things that you just got to go with because it's a good idea. Or because that thing deserves respect. So, regardless of how or what, and I mean, if you think he was here like, oh, still, he brought Allen Iverson to a new group of people and gave him relevance and extended his cultural impact.
I don't know if he gave
that was rough. That was rough.
Disrespectful.
Will you cut that one out?
No, I ain't cutting that. I'm leaving that in. You said Post Malone gave Iverson relevance
to a new generation.
Man. I'm not cutting that out too. See, Iverson, this is the disrespect.
And I just doubled down.
Yeah, this is the disrespect.
But it comes with being a knucklehead. Look, I'm the black Allen Iverson, and
I thought the black Allen Iverson was Allen Iverson.
Look, but it's like this. I'm renegade, but I have to face the disrespect that comes with being a renegade, even from someone such as yourself. Yeah. You will always try to underestimate my intelligence.
There's nothing renegade about you. And then what is intelligence? What does intelligence have to do with renegade? But okay, that's a whole nother.
Because a smart person is always going to go against the grain. That's not true.
Man, I'm leaving that in there too. But
just as long as you leave clips of you. No, you're like, I'm live TV, baby. So whatever you put in the camera, I stand behind. Yeah. You
I leave the good stuff for me.
Yeah, no, you're like, we need all these lights and props and whatever's gonna make me look the best.
Yeah, that's true.
And so and still don't look that good, y'all. Look at this man.
So we hating now. We just going full-fledged hating.
I mean, the Olympics took place in 1996 is another reason it was a dope-ass year. In
Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh.
So they have Freaknik and
the Olympics? Oh.
You sure they have Freaknik? We got to look that up.
For real, sure.
Because that's a lot to be having in Atlanta. Freaknik and Atlanta.
I don't think Atlanta's been the same
since.
Literally.
Ain't been the same since.
And we'll kick it out with the opening moments, which were ended by Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. He
lit
the torch, right?
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. And that was the same year that they had the bombing. Mm-hmm. Bombing in Atlanta at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I remember that. I wasn't here then. I wasn't in Atlanta, but I remember the news.
Yeah, I remember the news. But before we get into that, I mean, I guess it was him. What made Muhammad Ali doing that so pivotal a moment? Because he wasn't supposed to be holding play.
Right. That's wrong, man. That's disrespectful, man. They said he was gonna light everybody on fire or something.
I mean, it was like a huge deal that he did it, and he didn't do much. I mean, for him to show his face, I know it was the first time where I learned about that disease through him, slightly more than Michael J. Fox.
Right.
And through that moment, I think that it was a teaching moment about that disease for a lot of people. And it was a big deal seeing somebody so strong in such a
vulnerable position.
Yeah, to drop the flame.
You wrong, man. Why you keep talking about him dropping the flame? That's disrespectful,
I'm
man.
not trying.
What's her name? Layla Ali?
Oh my god.
Because you know she could fight.
I know, she can be.
This man right here, man, he the one, he got a problem.
Man.
If you want his address, I'll send you his address.
He don't got my address, Layla. Let's.
Yes, I do. Layla, you need to holler at me.
Okay.
I'll send you straight to his crib.
But America dominated that Olympics.
That was Michael Johnson, right? Running the 400?
Yeah, Michael Johnson was breaking records. The Dream Team was, that was big for me. I remember loving what they had going on. And my favorite part of the Olympics, the jerseys and the McDonald's.
What? Why you keep talking about McDonald's, bro?
That's the first time I talked about it.
Nah, you said it with Travis Scott, too.
Bro, McDonald's has a cultural impact throughout the ages.
What grown man still eat McDonald's?
It's not about that. I'm not even talking about necessarily what I like or don't like. We're talking about the times. And so I'm going to talk about what's relevant with the times.
You still get a Happy Meal? Tell the truth.
Come on.
You be eating Happy Meals.
I get cheeseburgers.
All right.
MJs were on fire in 9-6.
What Jordans were they? Do you remember?
Nah. Oh, my favorite. Because Space Jam came out that same year. And so with the patent leather tips.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Those were so fly.
I'm not a Jordan fan, of course, as I stated before.
Did you like the shoes?
I've never had a pair of his shoes, but
never.
But there is one pair that I like, and I think they're the 4s.
I see.
They have like a net on them. I don't like patent leather on. Patent leather on men is like weird. Like, you a grown man.
That was
groundbreaking,
bro. Well, and what's funny is people tried to like make that a thing because of those shoes. Those shoes really put patent leather on the spot. Just like it, you didn't really think of, like me, I didn't think of what patent leather was or its other usage. I just knew I loved the shiny tip of the shoe and the way they built the shoe around it. He used it a few times, but even men's fashion, they tried to incorporate it.
We need to see when that shoe came out, because when the Iverson Reeboks came out, they also had the tip of the shoe. It wasn't shiny, but it
wasn't patent leather, but it was very similar. Like 96 was. I feel like there was a couple, like all Jordans sold out and were like impactful, but like those ones in particular, changed shoe design, like almost Yeezy impact on shoe design.
You can't say almost Yeezy because Yeezy jumped over the jump, man. That's what he said. That's what he said. Kanye, you know he ain't gonna let nobody be.
Well, notice I said him. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can talk shit about Kanye, but all these soft ass shoes that are out now, yeah, it's terrible.
You saying they soft?
But people be sleep on what the first Yeezys were. Well, that were Nike Yeezys.
You talking about the Red Octobers?
Yeah. Oh my. Well, and then he had the Easter ones. With
them Red Octobers was hard. Though.
They glue in the dark.
Yeah.
And NFL. Now, mind you, there was like Michael Irvin, and it's crazy because the NFL almost seemed more radical than the NBA at one point in time, but that's dramatically changed over time.
Yeah.
And now
the NFL's Republican.
Goodell's trying to catch up.
Yeah, now the NFL is just Republican.
No, they're backing down from their stance.
They're conservative.
Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. And now they're trying not to be. Mm-hmm. But in the NFL, another loudmouth wide receiver was the first round.
No. Oh, Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson, yep.
Definitely a loudmouth wide receiver. Mm-hmm. For the Jets.
And he was the man at UFC. And I remember, or USC. he was the man. And I remember him, it being controversial that he was the first pick because I think it was unusual for a wide receiver to be the first pick.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Because quarterbacks.
There was a lot of pressure on him.
And running backs were hot for.
Yeah.
I mean, he lived up. He's one of the few who lived up for a while. He overstayed his stay in the NFL.
He had a TO type of ending to his career.
But
just
wide receivers in a mass abundance find themselves in those predicaments.
Yeah, he was kind of a big receiver. The funny thing is his son just played his son plays for the Cardinals.
Oh, wow.
Same name. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And he plays. He gets playing time, like he gets the ball and all that. So
what do you think makes wide receivers such fucking loudmouths?
I think because it's like you so far away from the ball. When you line up, you all the way on the end. You might run a route like 8 times and never even see the ball. Like the ball never come to you. So those type of players, they like, man, I need the ball. Well, running back, you always get to touch the ball, even when they fake it. Mm-hmm. You get to feel the ball, like you're right there in the action.
But wide receivers are out there though.
Yeah, it's a lonely position to be in. You out there hanging out.
They're so crazy though. Yeah. They all they almost like there must be some kind of artistry connected to being a wide receiver.
There's something because you got Andre Rison.
Oh my gosh!
These is all dudes that was just
left eye.
Yeah, you got Andre Rison, you got Keyshawn, you got T.O.
Michael
Irvin. All these guys was like loud.
Oh, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, whatever the heck he calls himself.
Yeah. So, like I said, none of these. I mean, even Michael Irvin wasn't the first pick in the draft. I think he was drafted number 11. So,
oh wow,
in his draft,
Ray Lewis was the 26th pick.
Ray Lewis. That's crazy.
He snuck out I mean, you can't. If you get drafted in the first round pick, people know you're nice.
Yeah.
And they just don't know your development yet.
Yeah, but you look at his career now, you'd be like, man, there was
he
25 people picked before Ray Lewis.
Yeah, and I would like to see all 25.
Yeah, I know Jonathan Ogden was also picked in that draft, and he's a Hall of Famer too. And he's a lineman. So you give them a pass.
Was Ray Lewis a big dog?
Man, he played for Miami. He was good.
Oh,
he was good, but he was I think they were saying he was small for a linebacker.
Very true. Very true though. I mean, that's almost what I liked about him is that he wasn't he became the prototype for a middle linebacker.
That's how you know you're great though. Mm-hmm. Is when you come in not the prototype,
and you change
then you change with the prototype.
You are the prototype. So
nobody asked this nigga to start singing, but
so he was a dog even in his stats were never sketch. His size was
right. He was fast,
and he was with the Ravens out the gate in '96.
Yeah, he only played for one team.
Him
and Jonathan Ogden both played for the Ravens. Both won a Super Bowl together. Both are Hall of Famers. Never played for nobody else. Dallas in '96 was a Super Bowl.
Emmitt Smith,
Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Woodson. They had a squad, man.
I mean, they were literally an all-star. I don't know how they were able to have that many stars on one team.
Because when Emmitt first got there, I want to say. They were a horrible team. Mm-hmm. I'm saying only won a few games. That's how they were able to get high draft picks, and then everything just came together. I mean, they built it to we got this.
Yep.
We got this position. Let's get this position, and then you throw Emmitt Smith in there. That's another position,
mm-hmm.
and that offense, man. I just remember that offense.
I mean, untouchable.
There was nothing you could do.
You seriously have Troy Aikman at quarterback, handing it to Emmitt Smith, and passing it to Michael.
And they had Deion Sanders.
For years.
They had Deion Sanders.
On defense.
Yeah. And I don't know if Deion Sanders was that 9-6 team, was he?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That team was unstoppable offensively, and they had a good defense. They were just tough.
I can't stand the Cowboys.
I don't either. I don't like them.
I don't like the colors. I don't like their persona.
Yeah, they're corny.
It's just, yeah.
But I respect that team, though.
I do, yeah. I almost respected them so much I wanted to disrespect them. Honestly,
that made no sense, but we're going to act like we
all
understand.
the sense. No, it's like with Duke. Like, did I play a couple seasons of March Madness, as Duke? Yes. But did I feel like Duke was a conspiracy theory and full of shit at the same time? Sure.
Yeah, I don't rock with Duke either.
I mean, any team that wins like that, like Yankees, Bulls only got a pass because they were so cool.
Yeah, but the Bulls was trash for a long time.
Before
prior to
that.
Jordan.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't one
and
of those
so
teams that's been winning
right.
forever. Like the
exactly.
Yankees.
Yeah. So, but, baseball.
Nah, we ain't going to do baseball at all. I have no respect for baseball. It's trash.
We're definitely going to talk about
baseball is trash as a sport. Baseball is only cool if you play.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. We definitely going to have to talk about
but
them.
We're going to talk about steroids the whole time.
He will. I won't. Cut! Yo, it's Brandon Daz Exotic, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to our YouTube. Link below. Yo, time flies. So
next on Time Flies.